This is what I've learned after spending $2,000 vibe coding in Replit. Plan mode is your best friend. The more I've learned about vibe coding, the more the planning is so critical to building a successful app. Take the time to plan it out and, more importantly, describe what problem you're trying to solve before you start coding. That said, don't use plan mode to actually figure out what your app is all about. Leverage another LLM that you paid a $20 monthly fee for, like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and have the conversation with them to figure out what the app is, what are the requirements, all the different things. Ask them to turn it into a PRD, a product requirements document, or a technical specifications document, or both, in a markdown file, then attach that markdown file into Replit and ask Replit to create a plan based on those attachments. This will save you a bunch of credits. Keep Replit for doing the actual coding. Speaking of, when you switch from plan mode to build mode, Replit will sometimes ask you, once it's done doing the coding, it'll ask you for feedback. A little prompt will pop up and say, hey, I just made this change, and does it work as expected? If you cancel out of that option and don't give it that feedback, it won't call on the Replit Architect to review your code. Now, why is this important? Well, Replit uses different models for planning, for building, and then it also has a specialized architect model that goes and looks at your app and takes a step back and looks at it from a different perspective with different security, and it'll find bugs that your agent, when it was coding, didn't find. It's super important. Have you used the fast mode lightning bolt option in build mode? When you click that button, it actually loads up a lighter weight model that's used just for making small little changes. You want to change the name or some text or the color of a button, use fast mode, it'll save you some cash. If you plan on scaling your app, I wouldn't recommend using the built-in Replit database. I know it's super convenient, but Replit only has 2 database environment options, the development one that you're working on, and then when you publish it, you can have it create a production database. Well, in the real development world, we usually have development, staging, and then production. And if you want to have this type of setup, I recommend you use an external database source like Supabase or Neon. Now, the trick is Replit really wants to use its internal database. So you have to explicitly tell it to write a note into its replit.md to say, never use the local Replit database. Tell it exactly which database you want to use and even give it the command so that it uses it. I learned this the hard way, and what happens, it wanted to make a change, it would do a database schema change, it would try and access my Neon database, and it would kind of just fall back to using the Replit database, and then I'd have 2 different schemas in 2 different locations. It sucked. If you plan on publishing the app, I wouldn't recommend using Replit Authentication. Once again, super convenient if you're just doing a prototype, but when you send out the app and people log in, Replit requires you to create a Replit login, and it's kind of a red flag that this is a vibe-coded app. For the app I'm working on right now, I am using Google's Firebase Authentication. It works really well, and it also supports Google's one-tap sign-in, which I love. Connect Replit to your local repository, GitHub, Bitbucket, whatever you'd use. If you don't know what a repository is, it's like a place that you store your code in the cloud that has version control. Replit does have its own checkpoint system built into the chat. You can go back and restore something. If you've messed something up, you can always go back to a previous state. It does work okay, but that chat window, the conversation, it only goes so far up, and sometimes you can't get back as far as you want to. You can always ask the agent to launch the checkpoint feature, and you can go back further, but sometimes it's not always labeled exactly what changed. If you use Git, when you make a commit, you can very clearly describe what you changed and what's in that commit. So if you do want to revert back, it's easier. Also, if you start working with larger teams, you'll definitely need to use Git, so get used to it. I don't recommend you rely on the Replit preview window when you're checking your app out. Once again, nice, super convenient, but I ran into issues where there were some visual bugs that were happening, and it was only happening on the preview. If you press the little button that says new tab and it launches another Chrome tab for you, you'll see how it truly looks like and what your users will see. And I had this one issue where there's some tearing, and I ended up spending lots of credits asking the agent to fix it when there was nothing to fix at all. If you need to run any commands on your Replit development server, there's a shell tab. It's great if you need to update some dependencies, And the more I use Replit, the more I realize it's just a virtual private server in the cloud with an AI agent on top. But that shell tab that I found is super, super useful. Okay, this last one is probably the most important. Periodically ask your agent to write back to its Replit MD file things that it's done. The context window on the agent is only so large, so if you've finished a big feature or piece, ask it to summarize that feature and put it in the replit.md. That way, every time the agent runs, it checks the replit.md for, see what's going on. It has a little bit of a summary of what it did so that you don't have to go through and search through the entire code base if you have a question about a specific feature. So that's it. I mean, bonus, when you get a Replit core plan, it comes with $25 just so you can budget properly. When I'm vibe coding full-time all day long, when I do in the weekends, I'm spending about $100 a day in credits. So just keep that in mind. Speaking of credits, hit the link down below. If you haven't signed up for a core membership, you get 10 bucks towards your core plan just for using my link. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments down below if any of those tips and tricks helped out. If you want to continue learning more about building and scaling AI apps, follow, subscribe for more. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.